Hey, sucker, you show me shit in your face, sucker! You never give me alive, sucker! Alive, sucker!
You want blood,
My blood here! Yeah.
gore, violence, riots. Do you want to be glued to the screen expecting what will happen next? Are you ready to experience survival in a freezing winter while running 90 miles per hour? Well, if you are, you're in a treat with this one.
I'm free, Frank.
Okay, we have to go back a time a little bit, back to 1985, where movies like Commando, Spell Rider, I don't know, Back to the Future were raging all through the cinemas. No wonder that this one got lost with all these epic screening in the same time, but still it's kind of a shame, because it should really be amongst them. No, it's not One Hit Wonder by Soul Asylum.
Runaway train, never going back.
Actually, it's a Runaway Train from 1985, starring Jon Voight, Eric Roberts and Rebecca De Mornay. From the very beginning, you know this will be a quality watch because Andrei Konchalovsky and Akira Kurosawa, of all people, were involved in making this movie. To be more precise, Andrei Konchalovsky is a director that I already mentioned in my previous video about Tango and Cash, and unfortunately he was only there for the first part of the filming because he got booted for all the wrong reasons. And Akira Kurosawa, I guess, doesn't need any introduction. He's a legendary screenplay writer and he's most known for The Seven Samurais and Hidden Fortress. Then we get to the cast, and believe me, it's really an epic one. We start off with Jon Voight, who's a hardcore criminal locked up in Alaskan Stonehaven prison in the middle of the nowhere. He's kinda a role model for the prisoners because of his achievements in the field, which consists of course of bank robbing and escaping prisons. Eric Roberts plays a young buck who is also a criminal locked up in a Stonehaven, and he's a quiet fighter, although not really a smart one. He will need some shoes, but we'll get to that later on. I also have to mention my favorite, and it's Rankin, who is a prison director.
First there's God, then the warden, then my guards, then the dogs out there in the kennel, and finally you! Pieces of human waste!
And he pretty much chases Buck and Manny throughout the whole movie. The guy is just relentless, he's violent, he's brutal, and he just uses any means necessary to get to the Manny and just wants to finish him basically. Unfortunately, he doesn't appear in so many scenes, but every single scene he is in, he just steals it. I mean, he is really that good. Somewhere in the middle of the movie, we also get a character named Sarah, and she's played by Rebecca Mornay, who is actually a young mechanic working on a trains. I have to admit that she's not that convincing as Eric Roberts and Jon Voight.
You see how fast we're going? This train is out of control! My God, we can get killed!
But still, she gets the job done. Her character actually kinda enriches the story and rounds it up. And last but not the least, we also get some stills of a young Danny Trejo. And he's actually in his usual role of being a criminal, and he gets beaten up by Eric Roberts in some boxing match. That's pretty much it that we see from him in the movie. While the story is not really something spectacular, the setting of the movie is just plain perfect. Every single scene is well thought and connected, nothing is dragging the movie, and the way it was shot is just on par with any legendary action movie, at least for me. From the start we just get enough information and background on our main guys, some cool action scenes escaping the prison, and then we just get to the best part of the movie, which is being stuck on a runaway train that's just running through the freezing landscape of the Alaska. There is just this good mix of action and drama, and it's executed so well, and I really have to give big props to Jon Voight's acting because he's just brilliant in this one. And of course, Eric Roberts is really good as a follow-up character, or his sidekick. The suspense is just grappling, and we really don't slow down, except for a few parts where Jon Voight has some monologues, or maybe he's just interacting with Buck or Eric Roberts.
Pay attention to what I'm saying, motherfucker.
But it just brings to the story and the character development. Even the scenes from a train monitoring station with some non-seminal characters are not boring. They're actually contributing to the story a lot.
If I let you jerk off with your system, this wild animal is gonna kill somebody sooner or later.
It is so well connected and it's so well thought out, I was really amazed. By the end of the movie, you really don't get a feeling that Buck and Manny are hardcore criminals, just some poor souls fighting for their life. Don't get me wrong, it is not really excuse for being a criminal, it's just observation how good movies can sometimes humanize even the worst criminals and kind of make them poetic a little bit. Is it morally right or wrong? Well, you'll be the judge. Unfortunately, not everything is that perfect, and I have to be frank, Eric Roberts gets on my nerves sometimes in this movie. He's just so annoying, he's just so needy and basically acts like a child sometimes. Well, not sometimes, for the most of the part. I don't know if this is because he's actor like that, maybe he was young, maybe his character was written like that, but man, he really gets on my nerves sometimes.
Manny, I don't wanna die.
I thought you was my friend.
Fortunately, there's a John Voight who kind of brings up everything and kind of holds the story all together, and with his acting, he just outshines Eric Roberts in every single scene. That is actually my only letdown in this movie, and these scenes with Eric Roberts could be quite painful. As it goes by the movies of this age, women are mostly portrayed as nuisance and degraded all the time.
The only person on the whole train is a woman. How lucky can I get?
Hey, sweetheart. How would you like a really good fuck, huh?
Imagine that being filmed today. Alright, let's go to the plot and see what's this one really about. Manny, a hardcore criminal that has been locked up in solitary for the past 3 years, is finally allowed to be in prison's general population. Young Buck, who is super excited about the Manny's release, basically starts a small riot in a prison as the warden Rankin is getting to Manny's cell to release him. Manny is finally out and goes to the yard to greet his old friend, and also Buck tags along, giving sunglasses to Manny, who is not yet used to daylight. Old friend of Manny's recommends Buck as a means to escape a prison because he drives in a laundry cart. They laugh off and go watch Buck fight in a boxing match. Buck beats the shit out of Danny Trejo, and Rankin and guards are watching. The match ends and Buck is noticing something fishy happening as one inmate is getting close to Manny. Inmate pulls out the knife and stabs Manny through the palm and arm, but nothing serious. He also tells Manny that Rankin made him do it. Enraged, Manny throws a chair to Rankin but misses, and an old friend stabs an inmate that tried to end Manny. Guts fall out and the guy is dead. Guards come and beat the living shit out of Manny's old friend, and they both end up in infirmary. Manny already has a plan to escape prison to save his life, as he is aware that this won't go well for him, and asks an old friend to join him, but he is happy in prison. It's the life he knows. Buck drives the laundry cart, picks up the Manny, and they almost get caught, but Buck in the last moment manages to distract the guard with some nude pictures from Playboy magazine. They go out in the yard towards the sewer entrance, and Manny tells Buck that this is where they part. Buck is sick of prison, decides to join Manny in his escape, and the boat greases up and manage to escape by jumping into the river. As Buck wasn't prepared for this escape, and especially in the winter, they head out for the train station to ransack some supplies and get Buck's shoes and socks.
I need some shoes, man. I need some shoes.
Buck makes a critical mistake and leaves his prison robes behind. Manny decides that their best shot is to board the train and never look back. They go for it and hide in one of the engine compartments as the train departs. Unfortunately, the train that they boarded is run by an engineer who gets a heart attack, tries to stop the train and fails, but manages to jump off it somehow. Guys in the train traffic control figure out what is happening and are shitting their pants as the train is accelerating and there is no one to stop it. Buck and Manny are completely unaware that they are on the train with no brakes and have a dispute. Typical generational clash where Buck thinks he's the smartest one and Manny is just a relic of the past. Meanwhile, Rankin is searching for his prisoners that ran away but completely misses them until he gets a call that prison robes have been found on a train station. Train traffic control figures out that the train is not abandoned and that there are actually people on it, and decide not to crash a train but to let it ride until they figure out something. Buck and Manny hear a train siren and see a figure approaching them, jumping from the engine to engine and trap it. It's a female named Sarah and she explains to them what is actually going on. Buck, being a Buck, threatens her with rape just because.
Hey, sweetheart. How would you like a really good fuck, huh?
Manny jumps in and is actually interested in how to stop the train. She explained that they have to get to the first engine and cut off all the others in order to slow down and stop the runaway train. They manage to detach some cables just before running over an old bridge and safely cross over. In the meantime, Rankin goes to traffic control and almost drowns in peace a main guy who is monitoring a runaway train. Rankin goes back to Chopper and they chase the train. Back on the train, Manny is getting tired of Buck and tricks him into trying to jump to the first engine in order to stop a train. Unfortunately, Buck Buck cannot do it. Manny is enraged and beats the shit out of Buck and also grabs a knife and wants to end him. Sarah kinda saves the Buck and they all realize that infighting is not the way to go. Traffic control finds out that there's actually 3 people on a runaway train, and as the train is still speeding, it is approaching a chemical factory and they have to make a hard decision of sacrificing 3 lives instead of a countless one that would be affected by a train crashing into the chemical factory. Rankin in a chopper finds a runaway train and one of his guards tries to board, but it gets killed. Manny, although wounded, figures out that he can actually jump to the first engine and save Buck and Sarah. He jumps but seems like a total failure. Well, not really, because he's hanging onto the cables and as he's struggling to get on the engine, his fingers get stuck and cut off. Still, he's able to climb up and goes to the engine compartment but sees Rankin boarding the train from the chopper. Rankin is set out to finish Manny once and for all. Manny hides, and as Rankin is approaching, he attacks and subdues him, snatches handcuffs from Rankin and ties him to the rail. Rankin, a true bastard, tells Manny that he'll never be free, but Manny knows that this is over for him, but also for the Rankin.
Win, lose, what's the difference?
With one last try, Manny manages to separate the main engine from the ones that Buck and Sarah are in, and they slow down. Manny waves to Buck and Sarah as his engine is still speeding up to the control while theirs is left behind. He climbs up to the top of the runaway train, with Rankin still tied, and they head straight to the dead end. We see some scenes of prisoners and get a Shakespeare quote, then the movie ends. As this is for the most part a survival action movie, actually towards the end we get a lot of drama and it's full of the emotional turns, and you start to feel for the guys who are actually hardcore criminals. I am still amazed how actually good this movie was. Oh yeah, I have to point out the music. Besides your regular 80s synthwave, we also get the Vivaldi's piece towards the end. And it is just perfect. Music doesn't really play a big part in this movie, but whenever it comes up, it just shines. Alright, if you have lasted this long, thank you very much for your attention and watching, and please like, share, subscribe, comment and all that good stuff, and tell me what you think about this one. This is yet another recommendation to watch as soon as possible, and it's unfortunately kind of forgotten gem in cinema history, and it really shouldn't be. Again, thank you very much, stay well, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!